Hey, what's up guys? This is Timo here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Gemstone Legends. Now in today's video, I want to talk about one of the heroes that was available recently, one of the Silent Assassins, which is in the Far East faction. And the one I want to talk about is Masako. She's actually very similar to her sister Koharu, who I think is one of the best green damage dealers. And so let's take a look at Masako and see how she fares. So here we have Masako. Let's go ahead and take a look at her special ability. She deals damage to a single enemy, 420% attack, and ignores 20% defense. Now this by itself isn't really too special. In fact, we've seen a lot of very similar skills, and in fact, if you take a look at Koharu, she does exactly the same thing, 430% attack in fact, so a little bit higher, and ignores 20% defense. So in terms of the special ability, Masako's ability isn't any different than what you've seen, but what makes her interesting is her passive ability. So she has two main parts to her passive, and that is one, she recovers health based on 40% of the damage that is dealt to an enemy, and then she has a 100% chance to recast it if you can keep her at 100% health. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to compare her to two other heroes that are also yellow hitters, and then we're going to use Haran as a way to test out their abilities so we can see the difference between them. So the first hero that we're going to compare to Masako is going to be Gojmir, a very popular choice as a hero to attack Haran with. He is also a yellow attacker that deals damage to a single enemy at 260% attack though, so slightly weaker, and ignores 40% defense. So that's the main difference here, in that instead of ignoring 20%, 40% of the defense of the opponent is ignored, so more of the damage gets through. His passive ability, however, only gives him 35% chance to use his special ability twice, and that only happens if you can use if you can hit with a critical damage. And so even if you do get critical damage, there's only a 35% chance of getting a second hit, and if you don't land a critical damage, then you will never get that chance. And so in this regard, Gojmir is slightly weaker than Masako, just in the chance of landing the second attack. The other hero that I want to compare against Masako is Frank. Now Frank is another really strong hitter, and what he does is he deals damage. However, this is based on caster's max HP. And one thing to note here is that any health-based attack is never going to be as strong as attack-based ability, because there's always a way to boost the attack, and you can't really boost health as much. And he does ignore 30% defense, so slightly better than Masako, slightly worse than Gojmir, but still a pretty strong hitter. He does also have passive ability to use his attack twice. Here's the name of the game. It's all about being able to damage twice. Okay, on his own, he has a 50% chance to land twice, but if you get hit by burn, bleed, or poison, then it's a 100% chance of getting hit. Getting that casted twice. And so this is also better than Gojmir's ability. And so let's take a look at these three and see how they fare against Haran. So let's go ahead and do our first giveaway for redeemable code. Since we are using Haran, the dragon, to test out our Masako, let's go ahead and use this code here. T_fight_dragons. All right, so go ahead and confirm that, and you're going to be able to get yourself a key and a couple of potions. And let's go ahead and give away our second code of the night, and that is going to be T_half_some_cauldrons. Half some cauldrons. This is going to get you a 3-star cauldron as well as a 4-star cauldron to help you ascend your heroes. All right, so first let's go ahead and test out Frank. And for Frank, I use Nefre as leader, because she does increase the health of all allies, and so this way I can maximize his damage, which is based on HP. And so let's go ahead and attack. Now this is without any debuffs against Haran, and with Frank you can't really do any additional buffs, so you can see it's 13,000 with the potential for a second attack. And now let's check out Gojmir. So Gojmir also has a chance for double attack, and if you take a look at his abilities, he has a 35 chance to attack if he can land a critical chance. So let's go ahead and attack with this. So with Gojmir, you're seeing it's 14.9 thousand, slightly better than Frank's, but not by a whole lot. And now finally we have Masako, and she has the same conditions as Gojmir. So we have increased attack and no debuffs against the dragon. And what we need to do though is we do need to make sure that she is at full health. So this is the condition for her to trigger her double attack. And let's go ahead and see how much attack she deals. And so you can see she's able to deal 16.3 thousand, a little bit better than Gojmir. And when at full health, it's a guaranteed double hit. All right, so we just saw the numbers against Haran. Let's go ahead and check this out against the Rift. So we're going to go into the Goliath Rift, and we're going to go up against a purple one, and we're also going to bring in Aurora to give us added attack boost as well as shield. So this is where having heroes that does that deals damage based on attack is at advantage, because you can bring in heroes that can give you attack boost, so you can deal more damage over the course of the fight compared to Frank, who doesn't really have a support hero that can give him additional health. All right, so let's take a look at Masako. So 25,990. Okay, so that is a guaranteed 2-hit. And then we take a look at Gojmir, attack only 1 time. And then we take a look at Frank, again, unfortunately, only the 1 time as well. And so you can see here, this is really where this is really the main difference between the heroes, and that is whether or not you'll be able to get a guaranteed attack or not. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go ahead and manual fight right now, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that I can get everyone to have a full health, and I'm also going to put on the shield for Masako, because I want to show you what happens here when we start. So we're going to start with Masako getting hit, and thankfully, because of the shield, she's going to minimize the amount of damage that she can get dealt. In this case, she did take on more damage than her shield provided, and that's why I brought in a little bit of healing here. All right, so let's now take a look and see how much damage they can all do respectively. So let's start with Frank. So he attacks 1 time with 20,000, and then we have Gojmir 1 time 24,000, and then we can take a look at Masako 25,000, hitting it twice for a total of 50,000. Okay, and so she did end up dealing more damage, even though she has less value for the ignore defense, but it's because her attack boost is a lot higher, and so that's why she was able to get more attack through. And what's nice is the guaranteed double hit will always come in more handy than the chance of doing a double hit. With Frank, you can control that. It's just a lot easier to get full health rather than having a negative status. All right, having seen the numbers, let's take a look at her loadout. So this is going to be the last segment here. We're going to talk about loadout. I'm going to give also my recommendations for Masako here. There's 2 potential loadouts I think that you can go after. The first thing that you want to focus on is obviously attack. Okay, so you want to make sure that you can get highest attack primary stats as you can, and being that she's an attacker type hero, you also want to give her as much critical damage as possible. Mine is 154, and there's definitely more I can give her, but with the gear that I have right now, this is the best I can do. And so one of the things you can do to try and give your heroes a little bit higher critical damage if you don't have the best gears around is to try and get a crusher set. Okay, so a crusher set gives you 40% additional bonus critical damage, and this is a very typical, very standard sort of loadout that could help you a lot. Okay, and so if you have crusher sets to go with, I would recommend doing that. The second set that I think you can go after as well is the vampire set. So this is one that I want to try and play with, but I don't have good vampire sets to really be able to give me a good comparison between the two, so I'm not able to show that. But I'm thinking about vampire set because you can recover 35% of damage dealt. 35% of the damage dealt becomes health. And because Masako already heals herself for 40%, that is going to give you a total of 75% of health back from the damage that you deal to the enemy. So if you can deal damage to an enemy that, let's say, has 10,000 damage, right, 10,000 health, you deal 10,000 damage to your opponent, you're going to get back 7,500, which is quite big. And keep in mind that her chance to recast is dependent on her recovering her health. And so if you can recover her health to 100% on the first hit, then she'll be able to recast the second time. And so I think that if you have good gear that can allow you to get good critical rate and also good critical damage, I actually think that a vampire set is going to be an amazing set for her. Now, my recommendation, what do I think about Masako compared to Gojmir? I think Masako is way better compared to Gojmir in terms of just reliability. I just love the fact that I can control her health much easier and know that I can guarantee to get double hit every time, and so I can always get more damage out of her in any situation I find myself in. So that's going to be it for me for today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and which other heroes you'd like to see. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.